Private Lesson is a 1975 Italian commedia all-Italiana film, directed by Vittorio De Sisti that star Carroll Baker. A beautiful piano teacher is the object of desire of one of the young boys in her class. One of his classmates find out where she lives and hide outside her place, taking picture of her undressing and sitting naked on her bed. He uses those photos to blackmail her into dressing up and acting like a hooker while teaching the class, and from there things get interesting. In a provincial town, Alessandro Corsini, son of the Dr. Luigi and Gisela, attended the local bishop's music conservatory. The boy, already 18, unlike his companion, does not mind love. The steady friend Emanuela, sister of Gabriel Fancy, regret a lot, and vice versa is particularly morbid. One day, in place of the deceased piano teacher, Laura Fomenti arrived at the conservatory, not very young but rather flashy. Gabriel, a homo who would like to conquer his friend Alessandro, managed to photograph Fomenti in poses of incorrect intimacy. Then, by ferociously blackmailing her, he forces her to bribe Corsini. Alessandro, however, pressed first by his father then by his uncle, has his initiation with a maid. He passes into the teacher's bed and by now graduated in romance, conquer Emanuela, who give herself to him, all happy in a field. At a college run by Catholic priest, Laura arrives as the new piano teacher. An attractive blonde, she is single and devoted to her art. Alessandro, handsome 17-year-old virgin son of a possessive mother, falls instantly in love with her. This is perceived by Emanuela, the girl who hoped to conquer him, and by Gabriel, his secretly gay brother who has the same dream. Alessandro's mother, completely unaware of this emotional cross-current, hires Laura to give him additional lesson in their home. Gabriel sends an opportunity when he comes across a vantage point where he can look into Laura's apartment and, borrowing a sophisticated camera, is able to take shot of her and playing with herself, which he then uses to blackmail her into exposing her body progressively to Alessandro. Although excited, the boy is bemused at this behavior, while Laura is deeply humiliated. At the end of term, Alessandro escapes their tense environment by going to stay with his earthy uncle in the country, and has an encounter with a maid, which gives him love confidence. Going home, he starts trying his newfound skill on Emanuela, but they are interrupted and he hides in Gabriel's room. There he finds the photograph and negative of Laura, which he takes to her. They confront Gabriel, who sees that his plot has failed, and Laura rewards her savior with a long night together. In the morning, she explained that a relationship would not work, so he goes back to an eager Emanuela. I initially thought this was another lowbrow 70s Italian scholastic comedy like the Insegnante series, where Edwige Fenech plays a ridiculously young and hot teacher, or the Lissel series, where Gloria Guida plays a ridiculously mature-looking and hot high school student. But this is a more serious and realistic movie. King of along the line of Massimo Dallamano's Innocence and Desire or Salvatore Sempri's seminal Malaysia. Baker was more mature at the time than someone like Edwige Fenech, and thus much more believable as a teacher. And the younger actors here are at least halfway convincing as actual teenagers, rather than being a 30-year-old comic buffoon like Alvaro Vitali. Carol Baker is the new piano teacher in a provincial Italian town. She draws the attention of two of her male students. The experienced and self-assured Gabriel manages to take compromising photos of her and uses them for blackmail, not on his own behalf, but on the behalf of his virginal friend Alessandro. Alessandro is a pampered, sweet-natured mama's boy, but it's really amazing he is still a virgin. Not only because of his friend's machination with the teacher, but also because his Gabriel's very beautiful and very willing sister keep throwing herself at him. Alessandro's father, meanwhile, is hilariously love-obsessed, and he also has an uncle who's pretty much the same way, but much more successful with women. After a lot of initial fumbling, Alessandro finally managed to score in short order. With his uncle's voluptuous maid, his mature but attractive teacher Baker, and his Lolita's classmate Fanny. This is not a great movie. It's better than any of the Insegnante and Lissel films, but certainly not as good as Malaysia or Innocence and Desire. It's pretty romantic and politically incorrect by today's standard. It is interesting though in that this is the one Italian film I've seen that is most like the Israeli Lemon Popsicle series or all the early 80s American teen comedy about losing it. Whether it had any real influence on the later genre is questionable, but it does at least share an English language title with one of the first of the Losing It American comedy, the Sylvia Crystal vehicle Private Lezioni. The Private Lezioni come from director Vittorio De Sisti, who worked in the sound department on films like The Good, The Bad and The Ugly before getting into the director's chair. He made a few love comedies, but due to the casting of Baker, this one here remained the one that he is best known for. For the most part, this was entertaining, but if you are sensitive, then it might be best for you to skip this one. To say this film isn't politically correct would be an understatement because there is some pretty wild stuff here. Whenever watching older movie, you have to be aware that time were different, but I think this film will push even those like me who defend movies. You have got talk of a 10-year-old pregnant, talk of 12-year-old being ready for love. Italian comedies pretty much went all out and that's the case here. I think the element of the film that doesn't work is the one dealing with the teacher. Baker is extremely good in the role and unlike other love comedies, she isn't a top knockout beauty, but instead she is a very attractive woman with that girl next door quality. She is terrific in the part, but the screenplay basically has this teenager blackmailing her and making her do things against her will. It really didn't sit too well with me because you like the Baker character so much, it's just hard to get any pleasure from what she is going through. The Private Lezioni has a few laughs as well as plenty of love scenes throughout its running time. If you are wanting to see Baker, then you get a lot of that here, but even with all of its flaws, the film is still worth watching for her performance. This is a movie that plays to teenage fantasies, curiosity and fears. Because of this, you will probably be most attracted to the movie if you are a teenage boy. For others, it will appear contrived and causes discomfort rather than wholehearted entertainment. This is worth seeing.